Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Hope you're having a great Thanksgiving weekend. And on today's show, we will get you all set for your Seattle Seahawks, their matchup taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. And here's the deal. Before I give you my keys to the game, go over the injury reports and all of that, I need one favor. If you want to beat the Raiders, then like today's video. I've been told that it's scientifically proven that if you like today's video, then the Seahawks are more likely to win Sunday's game. So don't be that guy and jinx this and be the reason why the Seahawks lost the Raiders because you didn't like the video. So if you want to see the Seahawks win this game, like today's video, and we'd certainly love your support. The Raiders and the Seahawks. This game's a lot different than I think we thought it would be at the beginning of the season. The Seahawks stand at 6-4, the Raiders at 3-7. The Raiders have been one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. They brought in a new head coach, Josh McDaniels, right after making the playoffs a season ago, and this year has been just a disaster for this Las Vegas Raiders team. Meanwhile, for Seattle, they've been one of the best stories in football this year to be 6-4, tied for the division, right in the thick of the playoff hunt. How is this necessarily going to go? The odds have the Seahawks as a 4-point favorite, which is very interesting because the odds have not favored the Seahawks a whole lot this year. Meanwhile, the over-under is set at 47.5. Should be a high-scoring game. If you want to bet on this game, want to bet on your Seattle Seahawks, or the Raiders for that matter, or any game across the National Football League, BetUS is the place to get your bets in. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125. You get 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. Seattle favored by 4. Over under 47.5. What is your bet going to be? Who do you got? You going with Seattle or you going with Las Vegas? Let me know in the comments section what your bet is for this one between Seattle and Las Vegas. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125 for this one to get your bets in now. You'll be glad you did at chatsports.com/bet. All right, let's go ahead now and look at the injury report. And the Seahawks got some very good news this week in regards to Tre Brown. Tre Brown is returning, expected to make his season debut this week against the Raiders. And what's going to be interesting to follow with Tre Brown, what is his role going to be? We've already heard from Pete Carroll say that he thinks that he'll play on the left side and that he'll compete for playing time right away with Mike Jackson, who holds that spot, and certainly provides some depth. It is a very nice addition to have a young player like Tre Brown who showed some promise last year as a rookie before he got hurt. The other injuries for the Seahawks, Jon Rhattigan is questionable. He returned to practice this week. We'll see if ultimately he gets elevated or not, but nonetheless, good to have him back around. Dee Eskridge is questionable with a hand injury. The Seahawks have been inconsistent when it comes to that number 3 wide receiver position. Marquise Goodwin has had the edge at times, but we'll see what he can do if a Dee Eskridge can come back there and get some playing time. Damien Lewis, an offensive guard, is questionable with a leg injury. Meanwhile, the IR list for Seattle, Alton Robinson, Isaiah Dunn, Darryl Johnson, and Tyler Ott. The update we got from Pete Carroll on those guys is that they are all on track to be back here soon. They're making good progress. So unlikely that they get activated for this game, that we see them come back. But nonetheless, good to see those guys at least showing progress, showing good signs that they'll be back on the football field sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead now and dive into my keys to victory. What's it going to take for the Seahawks to take down the Las Vegas Raiders? Let's start out with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I love the guy personally. He's from my hometown, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Followed him his entire career when he was playing his high school ball at Nathan Hale High School in Tulsa, then went on to Alabama, and now what he's done in the NFL has just been spectacular. This year, when the Raiders did not give him his fifth-year option, he's had a prove-it year of some sorts, and he has certainly proved a lot. With 930 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, averaging over 5 yards a carry, he has been spectacular this year. And it all starts there. Every successful team in the league has to establish the run. And if you look at across the board around the league this year, the teams that are winning football games, that are leading their standings, are teams that run the football. Well, the Raiders, that's not their issue. They've been able to run the football fine. They just can't do everything else right. And so for Seattle, you got to do what you can to minimize Josh Jacobs as much as possible. Number 2, another top weapon for the Seahawks, or for the Raiders rather, is Davante Adams. And Davante Adams came in that trade this offseason, and our Raiders channel was just off the charts with Mitchell Renz and company when that trade went down. And the Raiders have gotten their money's worth out of Davante Adams. Look what he's done the last 3 weeks. 7 catches, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week against Denver. The week prior, 126. And then against the Jags, had 146 for 2 touchdowns. This Raiders team is a little shorthanded. No Hunter Renfrow. They're also not going to have Darren Waller. And so Davante Adams is going to be called upon. And when you look at that secondary for the Seahawks, Tariq Woolen is probably the guy that's going to be covering Davante Adams most of the time. As much as I love Tariq Woolen, as good of a rookie year he's had, I'm a little nervous, to be quite frank, because you're taking on one of the best receivers in football here, whether it's getting 2 guys like throwing Kobe Bryant there or bringing Quandre Diggs over, whatever it may be. I would like to see Tariq Woolen get some help in covering Davante Adams personally. So that, to me, makes me nervous. Not a diss on Woolen at all, but more so out of respect for Davante Adams as far as covering him goes. What's your confidence level in stopping Davante Adams? Scale it for me 1 through 10 in the comments section. Can the Seahawks find a way to shut down Davante Adams? Let me know. Scale it for me 1 through 10 in the comments section below. All right, number 3 on keys to victory for Seattle, starting fast. And we have talked a lot about with this Seahawks team this year that they've done a really good job of getting off to quick starts, that they have scored more points in the first quarter than any team in the NFL this year. And what's really fascinating when it comes to those fast starts, Seattle has outscored their opponents 64-38. And think about this, okay? Just prior to the bye week, when the Seahawks took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seahawks started out slow. That resulted in a loss. You got to go back to what you did in that win streak. Almost every game that the Seahawks were winning in that win streak was when they were getting off to quick starts. So it's important for the Seahawks, not only for the offense to get going, but for the defense to get those 3 and outs and minimize the Raiders right from the jump as quickly as possible and get off to that quick start there. Number 4 on my keys to victory for Seattle. It's running the ball with Kenneth Walker III, K9 as we like to call him. And as a rookie, K9 has been just terrific this year. And get this, games that he rushes over 90 yards, Seattle is 3-0, okay? The Seahawks are 4-1 with him as a starter. The one loss being last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he was held to what? 17 rushing yards. So it doesn't take a genius to just put the 2 and 2 together here. Okay, if we run the ball with Kenneth Walker effectively, you win. That's how it goes. So yes, Kenneth Walker. Got to get the run game going with Kenneth Walker. Establish the run it down their throats, make it painful, and go from there. So, yes, run the ball with Kenneth Walker III is going to be vital for winning this football game. Who will be the Seahawks MVP against the Raiders? Will it be Kenneth Walker or will it be Tariq Woolen, Geno Smith, DK? Who's the guy going to be that's going to be the most valuable player to get the job done against Las Vegas? Let me know in the comments section below who that one player will be. Give me one name and let me know. Now, I want to make sure you're subscribed to Seahawks Today, and you may be wondering, why should I subscribe? Well, you're going to get daily news and rumors segments, live shows on Wednesdays, and our watch parties for every game day, including this Sunday. We're going to go live around 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, and we're going to react to the game in real time. We're going to have a couple drinks on hand here, too, and we'll do a little pregame show. We'll do a postgame mailbag. It's going to be an experience like you've never seen before. If you've never been a part of our Seahawks Today watch parties, be a part of this one. You'll be glad you did. It is a dandy of a time here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Last key for the Seahawks, number 5, involves Geno Smith, because, of course, it involves Geno Smith. And with me, I look at with Geno, you got to just let Geno fly. Let her rip, okay? Geno Smith, we all know, has been incredible this year. He's an MVP candidate. He has had himself a heck of a season. And according to the nerds at Pro Football Focus, get this, and I know some of you are going to say let Geno cook, and that's real funny. Listen to this statistic here from Geno Smith, according to PFF. The passing grade for Geno when it comes to passes of 20 yards or more, his passing grade is 97.4. That's insane, folks. And then, on top of that, as you see on your screen right now, the Seahawks have the most touchdowns in the league of 20 yards or more, 13 total. Now, obviously, some of that includes some run plays too, but Geno is extremely effective when it comes to throwing the football deep in those big-time plays. So, you're not at a point anymore where you're hoping Geno just manages the game. No, you can trust him to go out there and let her rip and get the deep ball going. Chicks love the long ball, so just make it happen. Let Geno do his thing. Let Geno cook, let her rip, and that should be a big key to the Seahawks' success. I will give my final prediction here in just a second. Before I do, though, predict the score for me. How does this game go on Sunday between the Seahawks and the Raiders? Let me know in the comment section below what you think the final score will be. My pick for this game, I'm going with Seattle. I think they get it done 30-20. I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. A high-scoring affair, but Seattle gets it done in the fourth quarter. They put those fours up. They get it done in crunch time when it matters most and get this victory. The over hits, the Seahawks win. Everyone's happy, and the Seahawks cover. 30-20 is my final. So to recap, keys to victory. Slow down Josh Jacobs. Take away Davante Adams. Get off to a fast start. Pound the rock with K9, with Kenneth Walker, and let Geno Smith fly. Let Geno cook. Let him do his thing, and the Seahawks should be in great shape. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Seattle Seahawks on those social media platforms. And I will see you next time here on Seahawks Today. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us.